An election is successful when, in the view of majority, it is free, fair, credible, and inclusive. Inclusivity is the concept of mainstreaming underrepresented groups in the electoral system. It is closely linked to the right to vote and the right to run for office, as well as the obligation of governments to facilitate these rights. In a bid to promote this concept, in the 2023 general election, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, is again making moves to protect the franchise of over 3.2 million internally displaced persons, IDPs, in Nigeria. At the instance of the Commission, stakeholders converged on Abuja for the validation of 2022 revised framework and regulations for voting by IDPs. The broadening of the IDP framework is critical because of the growing population of displaced Nigerians. The INEC boss Mahmood Yakubu assures that no eligible Nigerian will be left out of the electoral process on account of displacement, disability, or other circumstances.
Is the increased number of IDPs as a result of widespread insecurity nationwide. Secondly, to incorporate not only the displacement of citizens arising from armed conflict, but also natural emergencies such as flooding. Thirdly, to align the framework with the provisions of the Electoral Act 2022, specifically Section 24, subsection 1, which empowers the Commission to ensure that, as far as practicable, no Nigerian is disenfranchised on account of displacement by emergency situations. Finally, to align the framework with the national policy on internally displaced persons 2021.
Chairperson, House of Representatives Committee on Electoral Matters, Representative Aishatu Duku, on her part, notes that the IDP voting framework proposed by INEC is worth applauding and deserves support from all.
Legal provision provided an excellent foundation upon which to build a sustainable and strategic framework for IDP voting in Nigeria. The policy document proposed by INEC to guide the conduct of IDP voting operations and bring the IDP communities into the voting net is worth applauding and support from all stakeholders. There is need to also improve on the framework and the regulations and guidelines for voting by internally displaced persons, which will drive IDP voting operations for the 2023 general elections.
In a goodwill message, Country Director for the International Foundation for Electoral System, IFES, Serai Jah, pledges the willingness and readiness of his organization to support INEC in the successful implementation of the framework and regulations.
IFES remains ready and willing to support the Commission in this strive and in the successful implementation of the framework and regulations for voting by IDPs. We thank INEC for its continued collaboration and partnership. INEC should be assured of our readiness to continually partner with the Commission in achieving its mission of serving as independent and effective election management body.
Recall that ahead of the 2015 general election, INEC introduced the idea of voting by IDPs. In the 2019 general election, the framework was broadened to cover areas in 15 states where displacements were triggered by factors other than insurgency.
The Commission's revised IDP framework and regulations provide a template for IDP voting operations, not just in conflict zones, but also in areas of population displacement that may have been affected by non-conflict factors. This policy framework further elaborates and reinforces the Commission's commitment to 1. Conduct of free, fair, credible, and inclusive elections in Nigeria. 2. To propagate, deepen, and sustain the knowledge of sound democratic election practices in which the protection of the rights of all citizens to participate in the electoral process, regardless of disability status, are protected. 3. To ensure that as much as possible, internally displaced populations are afforded the opportunity to exercise their rights as enshrined in international and national conventions and laws.
The validation meeting is therefore critical as it aims to take in suggestions from stakeholders and field officers directly working with IDPs ahead of 2023 poll.